Hey, what up guys? In this one, we're going to Pine Needles Golf Course. And to be honest, I wasn't sure if I was going to post this one because I played pretty awfully. And I'm not sure if people actually want to see that. They want to see a golf course and someone do well on it. So yeah, for what it is, it's going to be some very bad play. That being said, I played with Mike and Frankie, people who I met on Clubhouse, and we all went to a trip to North Carolina together with 19 others. Yeah, Mike was an awesome hype man. He was, even though I was playing so, poorly, he was encouraging me the whole time and, making me feel not as bad about how poorly I was playing out there. So let's head out of the course and see how I did.
Come on, babe.
All right, I'm here with Frankie and Mike, fairways and greens, Sonora and Soul. This is mid-round, but I'm gonna put this in the front. We're having a good time at the Clubhouse Invitational. Vibes are high. You gotta check out their stuff, especially Frankie with the shoes. I'll put some, photos in here, but this is a great time. This is amazing. So yeah, let's head out to the course. Let's do it. Not playing the greatest, but you know what? Vibes are high. Let's go. All right, this here is Mike, aka Fairways and Greens. He pipes it down the middle, and thanks for being the positive person in this group. Even though I played so poorly, he was keeping the spirits high and encouraging me the whole time. So actually, I drove the ball okay today. This one was right down the center. And this next one, I hit it a little bit too hard. I should have just laid up. But I end up going into this, weird rough area. This looks like a really good shot, but unfortunately it rolls into the sand trap, and I didn't really realize until I got up there. And yeah, I just don't get it out of the sand trap onto the green. So I have this putt for my par, and I roll it way by. So I even had a lot of time to warm up today and even practice on the putting greens, but yeah, just the putter was not feeling it today. Unfortunately, missed my bogey just by inches, and I pick up for my double. So this next up is a long par 4. Hit a pretty good drive down the center of the fairway, but then I have a longer shot, so I bring out my utility 3-iron and I am chunking it. So doesn't kill me, but yeah, I got a decent length shot for my next shot into the green, and it ends up being a little bit short, so I have a really, really long one for my upcoming par putt. So here's a par putt. And yeah, I really baby it up there. Don't get very close. So I have another long one for the bogey. And I missed it, and I get another double. So starting off double-double. So this next person you're going to see is actually Frankie. He is the creator and owner of Sonora and Soul. And he does custom painting on shoes. Check him out. Here's a picture of one of his shoe creations. And then here's my tee shot on this par 3. Yeah, it looks good initially, and I think it's tracking really well. And then it ends up just hitting the lip of the sand trap and rolls back in. And as you know, bunker play, not my strong suit. So I clip this one, and I clip the top of the bunker. And then unfortunately, this next one, I end up blasting it out, but way over the green. So I have a super, super long putt for my bogey here. Yeah, I didn't read this one well at all. I have no idea what the heck I was doing there. But this is just, I'm compounding mistakes and getting a little frustrated. And here's my putt for double. And yeah, and so I have to tap in for a triple. So starting off with a 7 over, overall, not great for 3 holes. Next up is a par 4 straightaway over water. You can't really see it here, but a pretty cool tee shot. So pine needles from these tee boxes is makes you really think from way back far. This next shot ended up just being short and to the right, but hey, at least I'm on. Here's my first putt. Yeah, and I blast this one by. So struggling here big time with the putter. So here's the comeback putt for my par. And yeah, it just continues to be a brutal day. Unfortunately, tapped that in just for bogey, but yeah, 8 over already. All right, coming up next is a par 3. I end up just chunking my 3-iron here, and it goes short into the trap. So I got a long shot into the green from this bunker, but I was sitting up on like a weed or something, so I actually didn't chip off of the sand. I just chipped off that weed. Next up is my next putt for par. Get close enough, but the returner, I was able just to make it for a bogey. Now at this point, I'm actually happy with bogey because this is the best score on a hole that I've gotten thus far. So next up, another par 4. Hit a great drive down the center of the fairway. And yeah, I just have a long distance into the green for my next shot. So I take out my hybrid, and yeah, it goes a decent distance, but it ends up being short and to the right. Here's my chip for my up and down, and I had a pretty good chip here. Got it within that 5-foot circle, and here's my putt for par. And I'm draining it. So we're going in the right direction, but like I said in the beginning of the video, it's going to be a struggle. This one, unfortunately, I hit left into the pine needles. And basically everyone's telling me, yeah, you got to go to North Carolina and get the pine needles experience. And I definitely did get the pine needles experience. So end up just chipping out, hits the trees and kicks, forward. And I had this approach into the green. And yeah, just flirted out to the right. I don't know what happened here, but not very good. And so I have a chip to get up and down. And here's my chip. And yeah, it wasn't very great. I left it really short. And here's the bogey putt. And yeah, not a good effort there as well. So end up tapping that in for double. But as you can see, I made strides in the past 2 holes, but then I lost it all again on the next one. So 11 over already. All right, this next hole is pretty straight away, but trouble left and right, and I end up hitting it down the center. So I'm set up pretty well for my second shot into the green. And this one ends up being shorter than I would like, but hey, I'm on the green in regulation, and if I'm putting for birdie, that's better than I have been doing on all the previous holes. So there's my attempt. It ends up breaking left to right more than I thought, and I just tapped that in for my par. So back on the par train. So here's Mike. Once again, who's just, being a great positive person in the group. Hits his bomb, and yeah, he was feeling it that day. Here's my drive, and my first drive, unfortunately, gets, hit into the abyss on the left, so I end up taking in a provisional, and this one goes to the right. So I'm not sure what's going on off the tee, but I end up losing my ball and taking the ball on the right. And yeah, this one goes into the Pinestraw. I end up punching it out, and here's my next shot. So I'm already really behind on the strokes and end up just blading this one across the green. It hits the green, but it goes off the back. And then there's my chip onto the green. And so now I'm putting for triple because I lost my ball off the tee. So here's my putt for triple. And I get it just there close enough to where I can tap it in, but I end up getting a quad bogey. So it's just the wheels are falling off now. Next up is a cool par 5 tee shot over water. This one I end up hooking left and into the Pinestraw. So I just want to get it out into play, end up just punching it out. It catches the lip between the fairway and the dirt, and so it doesn't go very far. And this one I had a buried lie, and I took out my 3-iron and was able to get it up in front of the green. So I'm just chipping on to get on and try to get up and down for my par. And this is the look I have for par. And yeah, no dice. So I end up leaving it a little bit short, but then I just tap it in for bogey. So not bad. Next up is a straightaway par 4. Hit a really good drive, and if you can hear Mike in the background, he's cheering me on and sending out those positive vibes. Even though he knows I wasn't playing that great, it was good to hear those positive words. Next up, hit an iron into the green. It ends up being pen even just off the green to the right, so I'm chipping on. And yeah, so this one I'm giving, just my chip on, and you can see Mike coming in here to get a read off of my chip. And he gave me a read on my putt, so I have this look for par, and I make it because he gave me the read. So another par, which I'm pretty happy with. All right, so maybe instead of focusing on my poor play, you can focus on the views here with the clouds. It was a beautiful day. This driver, not so beautiful, ends up going left into the Pinestraw. End up hitting it out and being maybe like 50 yards short of the flag. So I end up chipping this one on. And yeah, I'm pretty happy about this chip because it ends up only being a foot away from the pin. And so I get another par. So 2 pars in a row. All right, this next hole is a severely downsloped par 3. I hit this way short, and now my next shot is like a side heel lie that's like just short of the trap. And so here's my shot, and I end up just chunking it into the sand trap. And as you know, the sand is not my forte, but I end up hitting a good one here. This is probably like the best long sand shot that I've ever had, probably on the channel. So next up is my putt for bogey. I end up rocketing it, but it hits the flag. Luckily, it hits the flag. And here's the returner for double. And my gosh, I'm just so happy to get a double at this point. 18 over. All right, this next drive, another case of the pull hooks, and it's going deep into the Pinestraw. Luckily, we found it, and so I have this testy one just to punch out here. So here's the punch out. And yeah, it's just, I felt so good about this. Just threaded the needle through these 2 trees, and it didn't hit the tree and kick straight back at my face. So here's my next shot into the green. And it ends up being just a little bit short, so I end up taking my putter from off the green. And I actually should have probably just taken my wedge because I was chipping a lot better than I was putting. So did not give it enough gas. And basically, here's my next putt for bogey. And yeah, leave that one short and to the right as well. So end up with another double bogey. All right, if you take a look at the view and the clouds, it's gorgeous. It looks like a postcard, and I finally hit a good drive into the center of the fairway after so many poor tee shots. On top of that, I followed up with a good hybrid shot, so I only have maybe like 100 yards out for my next shot. And so here's my attempt to get close and to get in there for my birdie. And unfortunately, I leave it pretty far short, so I have a decent one for my bird now. So here's the birdie putt. At least I gave it a chance. I rolled it by, and I ended up just tapping this one in for par. So 20 over at this point. My gosh. All right, this next shot has a beautiful backdrop for this par 3. Unfortunately, the tee shot was not beautiful. Ended up being short into the left. And for this one, I just didn't want to be short and have it roll back to my feet. So when I do that, I kind of overcompensate, and I hit this one well past the hole. So now I have maybe like a 20-footer for par, and here's my par putt attempt.
Let's go, Matt.
And I thought it was going to be in. You can hear Mike trying to, encourage me there, and end up just tapping that in for bogey. So 21 over at this point. All right, coming into the final stretch, the last 2 holes, I want to play well, and unfortunately the pool hook comes back. So it rolls through this waist area and stays into this bunker, and I have this shot out of the bunker. And yeah, I just don't hit a good shot, and I should have just taken a high lofted club to get it out, but it only went like, 10 yards. And so I have this next long shot into the green. I hit it pretty well, and I end up being about pin even, but I pulled a little bit to the left. So here I am in the sand, and as you know, not the greatest in the sand. Showing a little bit of frustration here. But fortunately, I followed that up with a really good wedge shot. And this, you can't see it, but it ends up being maybe like a foot, 2 feet from the hole. So I saved my double bogey. All right, the last hole, last drive, I wanted to hit a good one, and I ended up drop kicking it. But it ended up in the middle of the fairway, so no complaints. And it was a little shorter par 4 due to it being downhill. So next, I take out my club, hit a really good golf shot, almost pin even and a little bit left. And so here's my birdie attempt. And yeah, I just don't give enough juice, and I don't keep it above the hole. And so here's the par, and I missed that too. So end up picking up for bogey, 24 over.
So as you can see, it was a brutal round. Frankie's a single digit. I mean, he's close to scratch golfer, and Mike is a single digit. So they're a little better than me. So we played from, a further back tee box. And it's just brutal out there. But the course was awesome. I was just trying to soak it in. And I think I put a little bit too much pressure on playing well because I was trying to get, content. And then kind of lost sight in the beginning of, why I'm really out there, which to play golf with people, in my group, which I had a ton of fun. Don't get me wrong, but I just didn't play very good golf. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. Keep chasing, and I'll see you in the next one.